video, I'm going to show you how to get a test bank into your Canvas Classroom. I'm going to begin on a publisher's site. I know different publishers are going to have different interfaces. If you happen to work with Cengage, you're in luck because that's the one I'm going to show. So Cengage has a Canaro test generator, and all I'm going to do is drag one of the chapters that I want to get a test bank on. I'm going to click on File and Export, and I'm going to choose Blackboard 7.1. So however your publisher has you exporting, if you can export into the Blackboard system, that is the best way to do it. So I'm going to save as, and then save it in a place that I can find it, which I have already done. So I'm going to show you here. I have at least 5 of my test banks ready to go. Now I'm going to shift and go into my classroom. Here in my classroom, I need to go into the settings to import this new test bank. Go to settings, and in settings, there is that location on the course details tab that lets you import content into course. This may be on the right side of your screen if you have a higher resolution screen, but for others, you're going to find this below the other fields. Import content into this course. You're going to select Blackboard 6, 7, 8, or 9 export. We're going to browse to that location that you saved those test banks and pick the test bank that you want to import. I need chapter 3, so I'm going to select that one. I'm going to tell it to create a new question bank, and I'm going to leave this blank because it's going to generate its own name when it creates that question bank. Something I found out. So I now no longer bother with the question bank name. Choose all content and import. It's going to run for just a minute, and then when it's done, it will say completed. Once it's completed, you are ready to go to the quizzes section of your classroom and to go into your manage question banks. And there you're going to see the brand new question bank has been created. Now I have an additional problem that it brings everything in. It has 93 questions, and some of them are short answer and essay, and those are the types of questions I don't want. So if you want to continue on in the video, I'm going to show you a couple of tricks of getting the unwanted questions out of your question bank. So I have clicked on my chapter 3 setting up a document question bank, and one of the problems looking at my questions here is I really cannot see what type of question it is. So I could guess or look at each one of them, but that's pretty time consuming. Fortunately for me, at least, if I look back on Cengage, when I go down, I can see which one of these questions are true, false questions. And I did think about trying to delete these one by one, but they turned out to be too tedious to delete them out of my test bank here. I found it much faster to find which was the first question that was a multiple choice question, which is the type of question that I wanted to include. So I kept scrolling down until I found the first question that is not a true-false question is one that says, which of the following cannot be specified in a new document? I take that information, and back over here in my question bank, I just start moving the questions that are the true-false questions I don't want into what I call a junk question bank. I created this question bank. It's easy to create a new question bank and call it junk questions, but that's what I did. It's important that you uncheck keep a copy because you do not want the question to remain in the good question bank. You want to move it to the junk question. So I choose junk questions, move that question there. And I'm going to keep moving them one by one until I get to that one question that I know is my first question that's multiple choice. Okay, I'm not going to kid you, that takes a little bit of time, but not as much time as trying to delete them one by one from the test generator in my publisher's site. So now this is the beginning of my multiple choice questions that I do want to use, but I also know that there are questions, some critical thinking questions at the end of this that I also want to remove. So I had to keep going back and forth until I got exactly just the multiple choice questions that I wanted. I want to show something kind of odd. This looks like I don't have any more questions, but what I found is that if I go back out into my question bank I see that I still have way more questions than I expect to have. And when I come back into my setting of the document, I can see that there are more questions at the bottom. There's my critical thinking ones that I want to remove. So sometimes you have to step back out of it and back into it to see the rest of the questions. Not sure what is triggering that, but just letting you know, you can't step out and back in, and there's the more questions that I want to remove from mine, from this particular test bank. And oops, I forgot to uncheck that, and that's very important. Okay, now that I've removed the questions below the multiple choice questions, when I come back into my question bank, I see that I have around 20 to 30 questions is what I'm expecting to see for my multiple choice questions, and I'm ready to set up my quiz to take 20 random questions out of this question bank. And if you want to continue in this video, I'll show you how to do that next. Okay, so here I am in the Chapter 3 week, and I need to add that Chapter 3 quiz. So I'm going to add an assignment, and I'm going to select quiz, and I'm going to make a new quiz and call it Chapter 3 quiz. Add the item, and then I'm going to select the item to actually put the questions on there. So, and of course, this is automatically unpublished, so not until we get my questions on here am I going to publish it. All right, next I do need to add some questions to it. So I need to click Edit, and I'm going to go to Questions. And because I want to do 20 random questions, I need to create a question group and tie it to the question bank that I want the questions to come from. So I'm going to call this the 20 questions I want, 20 questions. All right, and then I'm going to link to my Chapter 3, specifically the Chapter 3. I select that bank, and I'm going to tell it that I want 20 questions. And I also have to tell it how many points that's going to be to equal a 100-point quiz. So in my case, it's going to be 5 points apiece. So they better take the time to look up those questions answers. All right, now, so I create the group, and now I have it set to get 20 random questions out of that test bank. And I'm good to go. I can look at my details here. I can add dates if I want this to be due by a certain time. So I can click my due date. Let's say it's due February 20th. Save, and there you go. Your quiz is ready to be taken with having gotten a question bank from a textbook publisher, imported it into Canvas, and removed the questions you didn't want to be on there, created a quiz, and created a group of questions that will pick 20 questions from that question bank. If you have any problems with this, don't hesitate to contact your technology trainer. I'd be glad to help you with it.